highly auspicious occasion of the Pradishtadinam, that is, the installation ceremony of Bhagavan's Murti here, which happened in 96 December 18th. We have celebrated with Pushpabhishekam and Arati. Now, Dr. Kanagavel Rajan here is a very long-term devotee. They have been, the whole family been coming for years, and he has his own personal experiences with Bhagavan, and I request him to speak something about the installation ceremony, and then maybe one or two experiences of his own with Bhagavan. Thank you.
Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. தெளிவு குருவின் திருமேனி காண்டல், தெளிவு குருவின் திருமேனி காண்டல், தெளிவு குருவின் திருநாமம் சேர்ப்பல், தெளிவு குருவின் திருவார்த்தை கேட்டல், தெளிவு குருவின் திருவார்த்தை கேட்டல், தெளிவு குரு குரு சிந்தித்தல் தானே. பகவானே, பக்தர்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய மாலை வணக்கத்தை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றேன். பகவான் யோகி ராம்சுரத்குமார் இன்றைய புனித நாளில் எனக்கு ஒரு பெரிய பாக்கியத்தை கொடுத்து இங்கு பிரதிஷ்டை பண்ண நாளில் நடந்த மிராக்கிள்ஸ், என்னுடைய அனுபவங்களை பேச வாய்ப்பு அளித்தமைக்கு பகவானுக்கு என்னுடைய நன்றிகளை பாதமலரிலே சமர்ப்பித்துக் கொண்டு இந்த வாய்ப்பினை கொடுத்த எட்டர்னல் ஸ்ரீ பகவானின் எட்டர்னல் ஸ்ரீ மாதேவி அம்மாவுக்கு என்னுடைய வணக்கத்தையும் நன்றியையும் தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு, இங்கே இருக்கக்கூடிய ஆடியன்ஸ், devotees, ரெண்டு சைடில் இருக்கீங்க. அதாவது ஃபாரினர்ஸ் as well as our own Tamil speaking people. ஸோ முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு மணிப்புறவாள மொழின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, அதாவது ரெண்டு மிக்ஸ் பண்ணி ஆங்கிலத்திலையும் சொல்கிறேன், இங்கிலீஷ்லையும் சொல்கிறேன். ஏதாவது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமாக இருந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த இதை சிரமத்தை கொஞ்சம் மன்னிச்சுக்கணும்னு நான் உங்கள்கிட்ட கேட்டுக்கிறேன். Okay.
So you can use generously
English. பகவானுக்கு ஆசிரமம் கட்டணும் அப்படின்னு பேசும்போது 1992 அப்போ தான் முதல்ல பேச்சு வந்து நிலப்பருவத்திலே. That is, in 1992, the land was acquired for the construction of ashram. As per the direction of our Bhagawan Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Construction work, Kanagavel construction work, started in 1994. When the construction work was going on, Bhagavan used to come over here by about 7 o'clock in the morning along with Madevaki and give darshan and spend some time in the hut at 7 o'clock and give darshan to devotees and go back. This was happening, and at that time the trustee Mr. Mani from Bangalore was here to take over the construction work for ashram. Here Rajeshwari Amma is here, and Rajeshwari Amma came here in 1994 to help in the construction of the ashram. Since 1994 she is here in the ashram. See, when the construction was going on, several things happened, but nobody knows why it is taking place according to the direction of the Bhagavan. எனக்கு இதில் ரொம்ப detailed knowledge கிடையாதுங்க. I don't have any detailed knowledge about the Pradishtha. நான் கேள்விப்பட்டது, what I heard, what I read, and what I have seen in the videos. அதை வச்சு தான் I am explaining you about the Pradishtha, Swamiji Pradishtha. Bhagavan's Pradishtha happened on, as you know, 18th December 1996. That is after 2 years of ashram's construction. When Bhagavan's Silabarubam was Pradishta, the roofing, everything was done, but the floor was not laid down. At that time it was mud, and it was completely cleaned, or safai முழுகிறது. I mean with chani, cow dung வச்சு நல்லா சஃபாய் பண்ணி நீட்டாக வச்சுருப்பாங்க. இப்போ அந்த மாதிரி தான் இருந்தது அந்த டைத்தில், அதாவது ஒரு பாதியில். அப்போ பகவான் once Bhagavan came here one day, and he walked right from that end to this place where Nandi is here. So he was walking from that end, from this. See, at that time the stage was, if I remember very correctly, it was a semicircle. It was not flat like this. It was a semicircle. Bhagavan walked up to this distance, it seems, and then he walked from that pillar to this pillar. Walked from this pillar to this pillar. He walked a few times this way and that way, and he came to this particular exact place, and he put his left thumb and marked it, and asked Saravanan, who is the only servant of our Bhagavan here in the ashram at present. When Bhagavan was here, he was helping Bhagavan, and he was always with the Bhagavan, and he is here now, even now. See, according to him, he put the thumb of the right leg in a particular place, and he asked him to mark it. So Saravanan immediately took a small iron rod, and he was not having any hammer and all, took a stone and put it on the place and marked it. And he doesn't know I mean, why he has asked. அது ஏன் கேட்குறாருன்னு தெரியாது. அதுக்கப்புறம் he asked the engineers. Sivakumar, engineer Sivakumar and Singaravel, assisted by 2 other diploma holders, four people. He asked in the center of, keep the nail in the center, surrounding that 7 by 7, he asked him to mark. This is the place, 7 by 7. He asked him to mark 7 by 7 and put bricks just on the border and instruct everyone don't to enter into that particular area. Nobody should enter into that 7 by 7 square. Why he said, nobody knows. He didn't explain. Bhagavan didn't explain. He marked it. Then another day, the very next day, he asked the engineers, Sivakumar and Mr. Singarave, and measure the entire distance, this way and this way, crossway. It was exactly center of the plan. It's a miracle. He is not an engineer. Bhagavan is not an engineer. He walked the distance, he asked a particular place and put his thumb, and the nail was there. The next day when the engineers measured, it was the center of the Pradhan Mandir. It was Pradhan Mandir. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. And nobody was here. Then before that, Bhagavan asked Mani, the then trustee, to call Kalashekhar Rajagopal, SCP, Stabadi, who can make the statues and all. He is the gentleman who made Ramana statue also. So Mani called Rajagopal, Kalashadram Rajagopal, and he came here. So Bhagavan had a discussion with him and asked Mani to get a house for him. And Mani arranged for a house, and Bhagavan asked Rajagopal to come over to Tiruvannamalai and stay. Then they had a discussion and they started the model of Bhagavan. And this model was made in the old Darshan Hall, which is now Dulabaram Hall. Dulabaram Hall now at present. That is just adjacent to the stall and just behind the dining hall there. That is called the old Darshan Hall. So Swamiji used to come over here at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to the hut along with the Madevaki, Vijima, that is Sudama sisters, Rajeshwari Amma and all. And then he returns back. And when he goes to that hut, he used to enter and ask Madevaki as well as other sisters, the Sudama sisters, to sit outside and chant the Namam and close the door. What's going on inside, nobody knows. Only Rajagopal, Mr. Rajagopal, Bhagavan, and two helpers. Two helpers. One name is, I think, Nadarajan, and another one is Saravana. Only 4. Then, see, Rajagopal wanted some clay, black clay, soil, to make a model before putting the POP, plaster of Paris. Trustee Mani sir, he didn't know where to get the black soil. black clay. Bhagavan said, Saravanan knows, ask Saravanan. So they called Saravanan, they asked, and he said that there is a lake here, by name I think. Samutram Lake. So he said the clay is available in Samutram Lake, and that clay was brought, and they made a small outline of Bhagavan. But nobody knows what is going on inside. Now nobody knows. Then when the POP model was ready, Bhagavan asked Mani sir, trustee, to get two persons by name Lakshman Setiyar and Mr. Thinnappan from Tindikal. Am I correct now? I think Thinnappan and Lakshman Setiyar. And he entrusted the work of making this Swarupa in brass to Lakshman Setiyar and Thinnappan at Dindikal. So it was made there, and it was brought up, and it was kept in the room. That's all. That was over. The gunny bag was put over the statue, and it was kept. It's going on. It is sometime in 1995. At the end of 1995, December, end of 1995, I don't remember. I don't remember, as well as the people who explained me also, they couldn't tell me the correct
June 95.
month and the date.
June 95.
June 95.
February they started
June 95. That work was going on, and that statue, everything came here. And end of 95, Bhagavan one day asked, he came to hut. Everybody was there, Manisha was there, Sudama sisters, Madevaki, Rajeshwari, everybody was there. But they didn't call any one of these people. And he called Rajagopal, and he consulted. I presume that he might have consulted when the Swarupa may be Pradishtha. எப்போ பிரதிஷ்டை பண்ணலான்னு பேசியிருப்பாங்கன்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன நடந்ததுன்னா, பிஃபோர் தட் one day night, evening 4 o'clock I think, meaning when Bhagavan was going out, I think, he called mason, engineers, Saravanan, everybody came here, and he asked to dig a hole, pit, so to say pit, 7 by 7, depth of 9 feet. 9 feet depth, 7 by 7 deep pit. And it is to be filled with nama written by our devotees. So that pit was dug, and it was filled with concrete, stone, and so on layer. Then the namas from Sudama house, lakhs and lakhs of nama. It was in Sudama house. Bhagavan asked Saravanan to go and bring the nama notebooks. Then Bhagavan asked Saravanan, how will you bring it? He said, I will bring it in my shoulder and all those things I will bring it. Then he asked, at that time Ravi was the driver, I think. He asked the driver, get the car and bring all the namas here. And the nama notebooks, papers, everything was laid inside. By Rajeshwari Amma, Saravanan and few people, and nobody was allowed to enter beyond that, including eternal slave Madevaki. Am I correct, ma?
No, there are, I will explain later some of the details.
Okay. If I am correct, please.
It's a 3 by 3 by 3 feet and it was filled with notebooks. There were no stones or anything. I will explain later.
Okay.
You just go ahead.
So it was filled. Then he asked the people to bring, he consulted the entire thing. That work should be completed within the night. That was the instruction given. So that instruction was over. Said that the whole night without any sleep, they made everything, and they had a consultation how to put the Silaruba over it. Because it is a heavy weight, because of the weight. So there was a suggestion that we can put two rails in between. So just over the rail, that Silaruba stage may be placed. So they did it. They dig a hole on the sides of the walls. The rails was inserted inside, and over that a slab was put and concrete was there. So it was made, everything was ready. Bhagavan asked people to bring the Silaruba from the old darshan to the Pradhan Mandir. Someone suggested, due to the weight, we can engage crane. Somebody suggested we can put, bamboos on the sides and we can bring it. But they decided to carry. So somewhere about 20-25 people brought the Silaruba on the lying position, facing upwards. Face upwards, just like Lord Perumal was lying on the Adishesha. Something like that it was brought and was kept, and it was Pradishtha was done on 18th morning. This is how the Pradishtha was done by our Swamiji on 18th December 1996. And before that, after that Pradishtha was done, Bhagavan used to sit on this chair on the side. And before, I forgot one thing. Before Pradishtha was done, he did not give any darshan to the devotees for about 1 month. That's what I was told. He was here only, here in the hut and Sudama house. He spent all the time only here. After Pradishtha was done, he used to sit here and said, no need to prostrate in front of this beggar. Everyone should prostrate in front of this Silaruba. Because the beggar has gone to this side. This is my father. Whatever this beggar has, this Silaruba is having. So nobody should come and prostrate prostrate at my feet. At that time, there were two servants with him. One is Saravanan, another one is a Selvaraj. So they used to stand here, and whenever the devotees come, they are asked to go around the Silaruba touch their foot and go away. Nobody was allowed to go near Bhagavan. This was happening, this was going on.
Let me just explain.
Okay.
And then you can continue. You said whatever you said.
Shortcomings and mistakes.
See, we all know that. No, you sit there. I will sit. We all know the madness of Bhagavan. He was absolutely mad, unpredictable. Very unpredictable. You would never know what he would say next, what he would do next. But those of us who were around him, we understood that and we acted up to his will. We had no quarrel over that. The thing is, how it was a miracle. One miracle is such a huge 220 feet and 145 here. Such a huge hall. So, one day he just walked in, we were here, he walked around and then he went straight to the spot where the murti is. And then he stamped his foot like this, said, this is the center of this hall. He did not do any measurement, nothing. Just walked around and then came to the spot and said, this is the center. And then he asked Saravana to mark it. And then he called all the engineers, they came and measured and they found it exactly the same spot as the center. So, a mad God man is an engineer of engineers. That he knew, just one look at it, he knew the exact center of the hall. So that was one miracle. And then he had a pit dug, that is 3 by 3 by 3, 3 feet by 3 feet. And then he told us in the morning itself in Sudama that collect all the notebooks, the Nama notebooks. So we packed up all that. And then Saravana had got it. And then it was all pushed into that. And then they closed it. So it was kept like that. And then Bhagavan also asked people to put some, the ropes around so that people would walk into that area. So this was more mad than this was yet to come. That is, in 95 itself, Bhagavan said, Kalasagaram Rajagopal, who had sculpted Ramana Bhagavan's statue there, he kept coming to Bhagavan and was asking, Swami, please let me do your sculpture also. I would like to sculpt you also. You have such beautiful features, I would like to do it. He kept on asking and Bhagavan would not give him any answer. Then suddenly one day, in 95, he told Mani, the then trustee, to bring Rajagopal there. Kalasagara means the ocean of art. So he is given the title, because of his talent. So he had him brought here, and then Kalasagara Rajagopal stayed for 1 year in a nearby house, he and his wife, and he would come every day, the old Darshan Mandir. He said, Swami, I need you for the model, because the features have to come, and I have to look at you when I have to make this. So Bhagavan, he wanted Bhagavan to sit there for 2 months, but Bhagavan sat only for 2 weeks. And then of course, they would close the door and we would be waiting outside. We would be singing the name all the time and Bhagavan would be inside, and after some time he'd come out. So the statue was made of clay and then plaster of Paris and all that. Then it has to be cast in the metal mold. So they left the clay, and then he called the people like the Chettiar and Dinap and all these people. And then he said it has to be taken to Dindukal, to a factory where the mold, the metal mold could be cast. So that is how Kalasagara Rajagopal also went there. But Bhagavan gave one instruction. After doing the metal statue, nobody should worship it. Please don't put mala on it, don't light the camphor, don't wave it before him. no worshipping whatsoever. But people, being people, they did all. When the statue arrived here, it had a mala and they had already done this arati, everything. So Bhagavan was a little upset that they had violated his rule. And then he said, okay, you take it straight to the room and leave it there. 6 months, he would not come inside that, he would not look at the statue also. So the statue, the metal statue stayed put in the old darshan hall. And then it was in 96, Bhagavan was giving darshan in dining hall at that time. It was about 5:30 in the evening. Suddenly, always, he would never see what he was going to do. He got up and then he said, Dave, you people stay here, this beggar has some work. At the time, those people had come, the whole lot of foreigners had come. And Bhagavan walked out, he was walking very fast. He called the then trustee Mani and other people. He said, this beggar would like you to bring the statue, open it. He went all the way, opened and had a look at the statue. And then he said, Mani, we'll call it Mani. Bring that statue here. And then some workers were carrying, those details are not very important, they brought it here. And then, over that, they had already dug a pit of 3 by 3 by 3 filled with the Nama notebooks. Over that, they had kept the statue. The miracle is, usually you build a base, and on the base you put the statue. Here the whole thing was reversed. Even when they started this building, they had what do they call it? There is a plate there in the front that Swami Sachidananda had come and started this building. And so it's all written there. And Bhagavan said, before starting this, the building, before construction, let us go around that stone, the foundation stone. Usually we go, the pradakshina is clockwise. But Bhagavan started to go anti-clockwise. So we all followed him. And then he was right in the front and I was next to him, and then Justice Arunachalam and all those people followed. So we went round and round and round 3 times and then said, now you can start construction. What I am trying to say is, these godmen, they are not bound by any societal rules or injunctions. They are the Vedas. What they say is the rule. And for them everything is auspicious. Where they are concerned, there are such no rules, left or right or anything. Whatever he did was perfect, and that was a great blessing there. Now here, the statue was placed, and then people started to say it needed a base. You've just put it on the mud. How can it send it down there, only the Nama notebooks? So this will not do. So Bhagavan said, I think it took a few months. Then he called Rajagopal, Kalasar and Rajagopal. At that time, Mani was not allowed inside. For some reason, Bhagavan said, Mani, when this beggar is in the dining, the Pradhananda, you should stay out. It's only after this beggar leaves this place you can come inside. So Mani would stay outside and he would be peeping inside to see what is going on here. The trustee, the single trustee of the ashram at that time, and Bhagavan would do anything, but it would sound very crazy, but in his divine world, it would fit in exactly, and every move that he made was constructive, and it had its meaning and purpose. So, now the base. Have you ever heard of placing a statue and then building a base under that? You see, at the time it was only earth, completely earth. So he said, Mani, now we have to build a base. Kalasagar Rajagopal was called. He was saying, my God, what madness. I have done so many statues in life. This is completely unique. This is absolute. Swami may be mad. That's okay in his dealings with people. But these are all, there is a code. There is a protocol. And this is the way that we made. These are the rules for this. What is he doing? After placing the statue, he is going to build a base and Swami said, you have to build a base and you should not move the statue 1 inch this way or that way. Imagine, but whenever Swami said something, it could happen, it would happen. That's one thing you can be very sure. Something that you cannot do, he will never say. So it must have been possible by his own grace. So he said like this. Kalasavan said, look, I can't do anything. I can't even stay here. I will get mad. It's just not possible. I've never heard of such a thing anywhere. And then the Mani said, no, and in my experience with Swami, whatever he says will happen. We have to just cooperate, seek his blessings and start the work, and the work will develop itself, which is the truth. He understood, he knew very well. And then what they did, you should not move. The workers also didn't know what to do. Mani also did not know what to do. Kalasara Rajagopal was about to leave the place. He said, no, just cannot be here anymore. So, Mani also could not come inside. Then he had to think, do some fast thinking. And then the culverts in the railway station, the railway lines are there, the culverts, and how they hold the lines, the iron lines. So he found something like that from the old stock. There are shops with the old stock of iron. So they went there and they found 2 railway iron, and what do they call it? Railway lines, you have seen the iron lines. Rails, that's right. So they cut it and they had to dig a pit. That is when the 7 by 7 by 7. So Mani said, first we will dig a pit there. So a huge pit was made. In the center, the earth was there, the statue was there, it was not to be moved, but around that, they started digging. And then they filled that space with concrete, the cement. So they filled up the whole place with the cement, and then from under, without moving the statue 1 inch this way or that way, from inside they were filling up slowly with the cement, and finally it came up to the rails and the statue was already installed. See, the installation ceremony took place when Bhagavan was there, and they placed it on the pit of Nama sheets. The installation was over. The rest is just for us to see some of those steps that are practically done. So the base was made, that is the pit was made and filled with cement, and then it was concreted. Over that the rails were there, and slowly then, after building the base, they removed the rails so that the statue was there. And then this was kept. You see that it was already there. The base that you see here was already there. And then, so everything was absolutely mad. Who ever heard of keeping a statue first and then form the base? And without moving the statue on either side, even 1 inch, he said, he gave very strict instructions. So the whole night, people stayed here, and this was dug there, and then they filled it with the concrete. The next day morning, by 7 o'clock, 7:45, I think we left for Sudama. We were all here all the time. Even when Bhagavan stamped his foot, the big toe, he put it there, and we were there. I was watching how he walked and how he came to the spot, and then stamped that and said, this is the center. And then now we stayed till about 7:45, he left. He said, Bhagavan said, by morning we should finish the concreting of the base without moving the statue. Make sure. And he left. But Bhagavan was working, even though he came to Sudama, he was up, he was awake, and he was doing work mentally, and here the physical, practical work was going on. The next day morning, 7 o'clock, when we came there was no trace of any work done here. It was perfect. The base was there, and the statue was where it was placed, and there was nobody here. But we couldn't believe the whole night they had worked. They had made a huge pit and filled it with the concrete, and then without moving it, they had removed the rails from under. Somebody got inside and then they removed, and you can imagine the rest of the details, how they would have done. I don't want to go into all that. So when we came here, and then Bhagavan asked me to do an arati. The first arati was done in the presence of Bhagavan that morning. So I did the arati there, and then Bhagavan began to, he started to give darshan from there, and Vijayalakshmi Amma and myself will be sitting in the hut here. This hut was originally outside, and Bhagavan used to sit there, give darshan, and then he said after the Pradishtadinam, the roof was made, he said now the roof has come. Even though it was only earth down here, there was no flooring, and he said, we will go to the hut, you have to shift the whole hut here. So the hut that was outside got shifted to this place, and he said, this is the permanent abode of this beggar. So this beggar, he stayed in the hut. It's a huge hall. He said this is meant for the devotees. But this beggar will stay here, this is the abode of this beggar. And then sometimes he would sit there in the chair, you have to give darshan for everybody to see. And then, when I looked at the statue, it was very curious. He always carried those emblems, the coconut bowl, and then a hand fan, and a stick also. But this was made without any of those emblems. I said, Bhagavan, where are those emblems? You used to carry. He said, no, Devki, don't think this is a statue. It is not the statue of this beggar. It is my Father himself who is beyond all this, beyond these emblems. You go see here. And then I looked at the face and I found the eyes up there on the Brahmarindra. You would see him deeply immersed in samadhi. But at the same time his hand raised in benediction. Because even in samadhi, the immediate and only expression of samadhi, where there is only the blissful, peaceful awareness, compassion. The immediate expression of the samadhi state is compassion for the entire cosmos. So, the hand raised in benediction out of compassion, but if you go near and look at his face, you will see the eyes focused on Brahmarandra here, which is a pose of the samadhi. So he said, he is alive, my Father is alive here. People can come and touch his feet and make their prayers. Father will grant them. He is alive. He infused it with his power. And then he said, Father here, he will hear the prayers made. And he will fulfill them. And he said, even the expressions on the face will change. And they do, till today. Even today, I saw him full of laughter. There's such a beautiful, bewitching smile on his face, that he was so happy with all the happenings here. At times he would look grim, when the world situation is different. But at times, there will be a grin instead of being grim. He'll be grinning from ear to ear. You could see that. If you are sensitive enough, you go near, you can see that. Even now, the expressions change to show that he is very much alive here. Every day when we do the chanting here, you can see how he comes out of the statue. He moves around, blessing people. Sometimes he dances to our singing, and the beams of light coming from the hand. So, he also said, those who enter, he knew Even now he knows when somebody enters the ashram. Please know that he is vibrantly alive and he is seeing without seeing. He knows who enters the ashram, and he said those who enter this ashram will not go back empty-handed, that my Father's blessings are pouring on like rain. Whether they are aware of it or not, this is the truth, he said. He said it so emphatically and several times, so that's the truth till today. And people who come here, they are able to feel his blissful peace permeating the entire atmosphere of the ashram. So this is the story. The miracle is he's going to the center. He did not measure. The engineer of engineers, he straightway walked to the spot, stamped his foot and said, this is the center. 220 and 145, he just walked over and stamped his big toe to say, to fix the center. And the second is, after putting the statue there, the base was made. My God, you should have been there to see how chaotic it was, how people, it was like a puzzle, you have to work it out every step of the way, and so intelligently, you have to please Bhagavan. But when he said something, it was always possible. And Mani knew that, and he also convinced the others. The whole night they labored hard, and in the morning this was complete. And today we are able to enjoy his presence, we are able to make our prayers there and feel happy when the prayers are fulfilled. But before that, so much hard work. And always Bhagavan was unique and unpredictable, but whatever he said was perfect. And it was always possible for us. Okay, these are the things. Now he can go ahead.
Thank you for helping me out.
He was not here at that time. From the hearsay, he has been said that. So that's it.
Thank you for enlightening us.
Okay.
So once, see, after installation and all, Bhagavan used to sit in the chair, and our devotees used to come and go around, and nobody was allowed to go nearby. So they have to go around the Swarupa, get the blessings and go. One day, one devotee came, and he prostrated in front of the Swarupa and hold the legs tightly. Bhagavan saw all these things and he didn't say anything. Then the devotee, after holding the leg very firmly, he prostrated and then he left. Till he goes to that gate, Bhagavan didn't say anything. Then that Selvaraj was there at that time with Bhagavan, helper. So Bhagavan said, Selvaraj, avara nama koopuduvo, call that chap here. So that devotee was brought by Selvaraj and he was standing in front of our Bhagavan. Bhagavan said, Thambi, appadi seyyakudadu, காலை அப்படி இறுக்கி பிடிக்கக்கூடாது, நம்ம காலை மட்டும் பாதத்தை மட்டும் தொட்டு கும்பிடுவோம், பாடியில் எங்கேயும் தொடக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். பட் இன்க்ளூடிங் மீ, we are committing the same mistake now. Am I correct? We are doing, including me, we are doing the same thing. We are not touching only the foot, we are touching all his body. So Bhagavan says it is not to be, it is not to be. So we have to follow. So Bhagavan, see another thing, certain experiences of devotees I am telling us, I want to share. See, when the construction was going on and Slabruba was Pradishta was done, dust deposited in the Swarupa. So when Amma, Rajeshwari Ma, everybody asked when there's dust and all those things are there, how to clean it. But clear instruction was no water should be poured on the statue and no garland to be put on the thing except the garland which comes from Arunachaleshwara temple. That was the instruction given by Swamiji, it seems. Then Bhagavan, for quite some time he sit quietly and then asked, who can do it? Then he himself said, Rajeshwari will do it. So Rajeshwari Amma alone, he was permitted by our Bhagavan to swipe off the dust on the Swarupa. Now, due to her illness or age and all those things, she is not doing. That work was entrusted to her. This is one incident, what I heard. Another one is, Bhagavan on November 24, 2000, when he returned from the hospitalization, he in a wheelchair came and sat in front, just near the Nandi statue. Amma, Rajeshwari Ma, everybody was there. Then he asked Rajeshwari Ma to bring a pot, a mug and a towel. So she brought one pot full of water, a mug and then a towel. And why he asked all these things, nobody knows. Then he asked Rajeshwari Amma, Rajeshwari, what shall we do with this water? A pot of water. She says, Bhagavan, நீ என்ன சொல்றீங்களோ அதை நான் செய்வேன். Whatever you say, I will do it. No. You have to decide. You have to tell. Then she said immediately, Bhagavan, Abhishekam Mundra. Yes, you can go and do it. So, on 24th November 2000, Rajeshwari Ma did the Abhishek. But she had her own fears. No water should be spilled over the statue. Swarupa, how to do it? Then she gently put the water in a cup. One stage by one stage. She put the water, immediately she wiped up gently with the towel and she did the Abhishek. After Abhishekam, she went and reported to Bhagavan, I did it. I did the Abhishek. Then Bhagavan asked, can I be brought to that Swarupa? So Bhagavan was brought to the Swarupa in a wheelchair by the request. He took flowers, he put it on the foot, then he touched that foot and he worshipped, and then he went round the Swarupa thrice.
In the wheelchair?
In the wheelchair, of course, in the wheelchair. So, it is not Yogi Ramsuratkumar standing here. It is his father. It is his father. See, people say the beggar's body is in the Tiruvannamalai, but the Atma is somewhere else. Somewhere else. How can it be? See, you can stand here and see him smiling. Smiling. How can it be? See, a body cannot be in one place and Atma cannot be in another place. Wherever body, see, the body is here, Atma is here. That's why we are worshipping, we are getting everything what we are praying. But people are saying like that. And they themselves they said that we are all devotees of Bhagawan Yogi Ramsuratkumar. How can it be? It cannot be. See, Bhagavan is here. Bhagavan is everywhere. Bhagavan says, my Father alone exists. Nobody else. He is here, He is there, He is everywhere. He is ever pervasive. அப்படிங்கும்போது கடவுள் எல்லா இடத்துலையும் இருக்காரு. முருகா அப்போ திருச்செந்தூரில் இருக்கிற முருகன் திருச்செந்தூரில் மட்டும்தான் இருக்காரா? நம்ம இங்கே கும்பிட்டா வரமாட்டாரா? Lord Muruga, whether the Lord Muruga in Tiruchendur, if we pray, will He answer our prayers or not? அப்போ ஆத்மா அவருக்கு இங்கே திருச்செந்தூரில் இருக்குது, அவங்க உடல் திருச்செந்தூரில் இருக்குது, ஆத்மா திருவண்ணாமலை இருக்கா? So these are all some disputable statements given by our own devotees in different places, which should be avoided, So these are all the things which are all happening here. See, one more incident when the construction was going on, I like to tell. See this truss, cross truss. When the construction was going on, the truss has to be lifted to that particular place. Engineers and people, they tried a lot to put it in the correct position. They were not able to do that. It was informed to the Bhagavan. Bhagavan said, Bhagavan came here and he asked, I don't remember whether he asked Madevaki or Rajeshwari Amma to bring the beggar's photo. At that time they brought the small photo of that picture and he asked to put a light on put a light in front of the picture. Bhagavan said, then he said, now you lift. Without any difficulty, the stress went and sit on the correct position. And that's why that picture is there still and being, when we come around the Pradhan Mandira, we worship that. See, that Bhagavan can do whatever, even if it is possible. Even if it is possible. Impossible, sorry. Even if it is impossible. He can do it. So these are all some miracles which are going on here in our thing. Another incident. With that, I want to conclude my thing. After Bhagavan's Samadhi, he was laid to rest in the Adhisthana, facing this way. And night itself, I think Lingam was Pradishtadinam. Night the Lingam was Lingam was done Pradishtadinam. The next morning, there was no rain, there was no snow, there was anything like that. The next day morning, when people came, at that time trustee was our Judge Advanashaya. When we came, see, they saw 2 lines of water, parallel line from Swarupa to the Samadhi. One line here, one line here. What does it mean? Bhagavan is here. Physically here. People used to ask, நீங்கெல்லாம் பகவான்கிட்ட இருந்து எல்லாத்தையும் அனுபவிச்சிருக்கீங்க, எல்லாத்தையும் பார்த்துருக்கீங்க, நீங்கள் எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அந்த பாக்கியம் கிடைக்கலையேன்னு people are saying. See, people say that you have enjoyed everything with the Bhagavan. You were with the Bhagavan physically. No. Bhagavan is physically here. He is here. He is here. Since he is here, we are getting everything. See, அவர் இங்கே இல்லைன்னு வச்சுக்கிடுவோமே, நமக்கு இங்கே வந்து நம்ம எங்கே ஒரு இடத்துக்கு வந்துட்டு போகிற மாதிரி தான் இருக்குமே ஒழிய we cannot get peace. So Bhagavan shows that his father's presence is here. அவர் ஸ்தூல ரூபத்தில் இல்லை நமக்கு, ரைட், பட் ஆன்மா இஸ் ஹியர். His ஆன்மா இஸ் ஹியர். That is where I am very, very confident on that, and I can dispute any people if anybody says திருவண்ணாமலையில் பிச்சைக்காரன் உடம்பு இருக்கு, வேற எங்கேயோ அவரோட ஆத்மா இருக்குன்னு யாராவது சொன்னாங்கன்னா I will dispute those people. Definitely. No. Here. He is here. So, அதோட I think I can thank our Bhagavan's eternal slave Madevaki and the trustees of this ashram for having given me this very great opportunity to share my views with you in this auspicious day of Pradishtadinam. Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya. Amma?
No, it's okay. So temporarily and repair. So, thank you so much, Dr. Kanagavel Rajan. You have done your best and you are very sincere. We appreciate your high spirits when you became emotional and explained what a soul is. Atma is a soul, and the soul is all pervasive, and it's all knowing, all powerful, almighty. And it's people who do not know the meaning of the soul. See, it happened that when Bhagavan was there in Sanajist's house, so Kumbhabhishekam took place in another center. That was the first center for Bhagavan, and Kumbhabhishekam was about to take place. So Bhagavan said, even though this beggar is not able to come, this beggar's body is here, but this beggar's soul is there. Meaning that he can be anywhere, his body can be anywhere, but his soul, his heart is there where the Kumbhabhishekam is taking place. This is what we understand. But putting some meaning into it, there are some people who twist the statements like this, and then they try to establish that this place is nothing and their place is the highest, this and that. All this okay, we don't have to dispute, because the truth is truth, no matter what people say about it, how they twist it. So this is it. Now, one thing I would like to say is Bhagavan's Murti is facing the south. Dakshinamurti is always facing the south. And Dakshinamurti is seated. But here this Dakshinamurti is standing all the time, which means he is ever alert. He is not even sitting down to bless people. He is standing alert and all the time with the raised hand, with compassion and benediction. The blessings are coming all through the day and night, and this is what we call divinity. The blessings, the peace. As soon many people come here with so many problems, and they come and tell me specifically, as soon as we enter the ashram, somehow a peace takes over. The peace takes over, and we feel happy, a strange happiness, a strange peace comes into our heart. Then I tell them it is the peace of Bhagavan, it is his very being, this blissful peace. So he is there, not even sitting down, but standing all the time with raised hand in benediction, and the blessings are all pervasive. And every day when we chant, we experience his presence. Because he is at once the pure awareness, blissful, peaceful awareness. He is also many subtle bodies. He can just come out in a fraction of a second. he can assume an astral body and he can walk anywhere, do anything. So it's not that there are people who say once he has become one with the infinite, he cannot just come out in a form and do this. But they can do anything. It's infinite. It created the whole cosmos. It created you and me. So in a fraction of a second, even though he is infinite awareness, he can also come in the body, appear before people and bless them suitably. So we thank you once again for your high-spirited rendering of the facts as you know. And it's very good, I think it's a great blessing to remember, recall all that happened years back as much as possible. And as you can see, we can go near and see how the eyes are focused on Brahmarandra and that you can feel the peace in the Samadhi state of Bhagavan. So we shall conclude and we'll give a great appreciation by clapping our hands. Yesterday I was just looking around and I was asking Bhagavan, who do I ask this time to speak? And suddenly he was standing there. Bhagavan made me turn this side and he was standing alone there. Then I knew that Bhagavan wanted him to. No, not at all. You spoke very sincerely and spoke whatever you knew. And sometimes, of course, these errors in facts, it's very natural because you were not there. And whatever you have heard people say that you convey. So that's okay. But the fact is, we have to remember he is vibrantly alive, blessing all the people all the time. In a way we can understand and feel his presence and grace. Thank you all, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Now, we have to put Bhagavan to sleep. Bhagavan doesn't need any sleep. We have to go to sleep. So we have to close that. And so we sing a lullaby and put him to sleep. And we will go back to our place to sleep.